Alright, hello there guys, it's Darmoshark and welcome back to another product review, and today I'll be doing a review on the Darmoshark M3. And I've been using this mouse for roughly about 10 days now, and Darmoshark did not send this out to me. I purchased this with my own money, and any opinions that will come out from my mouth will be from my mouth. Well, yeah, of course. So starting off, I want to talk about who exactly is Darmoshark and why they are important, or why are they important. Because I think brand and customer relationship is pretty good when they are like wah, 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 wah. So sure. Darmoshark is a offshoot or a child company of Motospeed. And who exactly is Motospeed, you might ask? From my research, it seems like they are the original manufacturer for Finalmouse like ultralights and Air 58. I think it's only the Air 58, I could be wrong, but you could basically say that they have experience with producing Air 58s in their brand. So it's still a copy of the Finalmouse Air 58, but at least it's not a terrible copy, or is it? We'll never know. I'll put the specification of this mouse right on the screen right now, right here, if you guys want to check it out. It's so black, oh my god. But basically, the mouse, this mouse itself is a very good spec'd mouse for its value, and it's crazy. Like the value proposition here is really good. And to start off with the review, I want to talk about the shape. And if you're like me and you have never tried and Finalmouse Air 58 in your entire life, it's basically a large symmetrical mouse with side buttons on the left side only, making it so that it's more suitable for right-handed people, but left-handed people can still use it. Just side button is probably not easy to activate at all. And the mouse dimension is 130mm long in terms of its length, 40mm at its highest peak, which is slightly towards the back, but a very gradual slope, and a grip width of 60mm. So this is suited more towards like the large size gaming mouse out there. And with someone with a 19 by 10.5 centimeters hand, I can easily palm claw this mouse. Now I tried to use my original like pincer claw on this mouse, and I don't find it that comfortable, to be honest with you. But after using palm claw, I find this to be really good. And if your hands is either smaller than mine or bigger, you can either use a palm grip, which I find to be not that comfortable unless I do a palm tilt, which is a 15-degree slant on the sides, because then my ring and pinky can rest comfortably. Or if your hand is bigger, you can probably easily fingertip this mouse as well. So I think grip wise, this mouse is really safe in that regards. A lot of hand size can probably find a grip to use this, but it is too big that if your hands is smaller than like 18 centimeter hands, I probably wouldn't really recommend it, because it might be too much, like too handful of a feeling. Even with 19 centimeter hands, I find this to just be like the borderline too big, because there is some moment in game where I feel a bit blocky and a bit more restricted than what I'm usually used to with smaller gaming mice. So it's not the best shape for me, and it's one of the reasons why it's not my main. But at 40 bucks, you can't really complain. Like I probably forced myself to use this shape because of how good the specs is. Don't take my word for it, but that's what I'll probably do if I don't have money to spend on something more expensive. So the shape aside, I want to talk about the build quality now. And unlike some Reddit reviews that I've read, it doesn't pop when I squeeze it too hard. But because it's a large mouse at 58 grams, the plastic that they use here is very thin, so I can feel the plastic flexing if I squeeze it too hard. And if you guys can see, I can actuate the side buttons. But these are things that I will never notice in game, because you'll never squeeze that hard in game ever. And if you do, just lighten your grip, it might help you out to be better or something. But personally, in game, I will never press it this hard, and I will never notice the flex at all. But as long as there's no creaking, and after 10 days, it's very surprising, because usually with this kind of like Chinese mouse, like the Gyosco Mini, after like a few days, they just creak like crazy. So I would say that after 10 days, the Darmoshark M3 still feels really good. The buttons have very minor button play, like you can see it, but there is mouse grinding, so you can feel it. It doesn't sound horrible, but you can feel the button and the mouse button. What the fuck? The mouse switch and the mouse button grind on each other. Not bad, like I've felt worse, but it's just something to be kept in mind. The mouse button as well have very minor pre-travel on both, but M1 has no post travel, which is really good, but M2 have a slight noticeable post travel. Again, nothing major in game at all. The side buttons is also implemented very well in my opinion. No mouse wobble except for mouse button, the front mouse button here, but again, the rear side buttons here have some pre-travel and then some post-travel, but the front side buttons have pre but basically no post, which is really good. The switches here could be better. Like, I prefer them using something that feels a bit more snappier than this. This feels a little bit mushy for my taste, but Kailh GM in 8.0 that is implemented here actually feels really good. It's very snappy, very clicky, like it's very loud. So if you don't like loud switches, this might not be for you. But out of all like the 8.0, like cheap 8.0 mouse that I've tried, this is probably one of my favorite implementation one. Again, not a big fan of 8.0s, especially after trying out the blue shell pink dot, but $40, again, not complaining at all. The texture of this mouse is really bad. Yeah, it's probably one of the things that I hate aside from shape about this mouse. It's a very nice, clean, matte black look to it. Like, I love how clean this mouse look, but after just using it for a bit, it collects fingerprints, it collects oil, and if you play like 5 hours straight, there's gonna be dirt buildup around it. I don't like this coating, but because the shape is so big and every time I use this mouse I get a consistent grip, it's never really an issue for me. Luckily, Darmoshark does sell their own grip tape, and after comparing this to things like Core Pads and BTL, it's not as good as both of them, but it's better than the stock texture, and it's actually thinner than both of them. So it could be a benefit, but I personally just do not like the design at all. I just wish they went with the matte black design to fit the very clean aesthetic of this mouse instead of going for this very gamery look to it. So I rather just deal with this texture than using this grip tapes. Yeah, not a fan, but they're quite cheap, so it's alright. The scroll wheel that is used on the M3 here is also really good. At first I didn't really like them because they feel quite loose, but after spending a lot of time with them, they kind of feel very nice now. It's very weird. I don't know how that happens. Maybe I hit my head too hard or something. But again, I think on my original Reddit review I call this a bit like a quite a cheap feeling mouse wheel, but after the time spent, it does feel nice. This reminds me a lot of TTC Gold, not as tight as TTC Gold Dust Proof, for example. They're not as loud as well, but they're also pretty good. They're not loose feeling. They're very tactile, very quiet roll, and they just feel smooth enough that in web browsing they feel good, and in game I can notice is each wheel jump. So really good. I have no complaints on anything button scroll wheel on this mouse at all. They're just implemented very well for the price. I had a seizure there or something, I don't know. Next I want to talk about the skate, and the skate design here is I think if I recall correctly, it's exactly identical to the Air 58. So if you have access to Air 58 shapes in your stores, I would change this to Hyperglides, Tiger Ice, Tiger Aux, Core Pads, etc. But personally, on the Reddit review that I wrote, I called this scratchy and slow. 10 days later, they're still slow. Like, they don't feel fast. They have that very tuggy feeling to them, but they're also no longer scratchy. Well, they still scratch my mouse pads, but not as bad as day one. Like, the break-in period is there. I think I noticed the break-in period about 3 days after using this mouse straight. The good thing about Darmoshark is they didn't cut quarters at all. Like, it's $40, but they still include extra skates with dots. If you prefer dots, you can use dots, and extra censoring. So this is a very good touch from Darmoshark. But personally speaking, comparing this to even the Pulsar X2 stock skates, this feels much smoother. But even though they feel the same, like speed wise, this just feels so nice to play with. It's buttery smooth on the Pulsar ES1, But the skates here, scratchy, not a fan. I prefer something faster. Like, if you want to give me scratchy feet, makes it faster. Like the Hadias here is scratchy, but at least it's fast for change, right? But this is just, it's alright. It's alright. It's an alright feed. I would swap it, but I'm not gonna be using this anymore, so it's alright. Now let's talk about the sensor, and I'm happy to say that Darmoshark did not cut corners in this regard as well. Pixar 3395 sensor, 26k DPI, whatever, 3095 spec, motion sync as well. And on mouse tester, testing the polling stability and whatnot, I can say that this mouse is really good. I'm gonna put some picture here, you guys can see it if you want, comparing to like the X2 mini and whatnot. And this sensor in game just feels amazing for 40 bucks. It's crazy. The other mouse that I have that uses the same sensor is the Pulsar X2 mini, and this costs twice as much at $95, and they perform exactly identical, which is crazy. Motion sync is also still an option, so you can turn it off, whatever you prefer. And I'll put some gameplay. I think I've been putting gameplay. Maybe I've been putting gameplay. I don't know. But basically speaking, this mouse uses the top sensor, and the top sensor implementation on the Darmoshark M3 here feels really good. No complaints there. But if you guys can see, the sensor ring on the Darmoshark M3 is actually below the central point of the mouse, making this a lower sensor position instead of your typical, where's the typical central sensor position, if you guys can see there. But personally speaking, again, this has never been an issue for me. I think there is a picture, maybe I'm going to put it up, maybe I won't, regarding why sensor position matters. The thingy majiggy is that higher sensor placement means you're gonna feel your sensor to be faster, lower sensor placement means that your sensitivity will be slower, and middle is where you usually play it at. Not an issue, because I don't think it's too low to the fact that it's gonna be too slow, and it's not too high like the Orochi that it will be too fast. But I think with how I palm claw this mouse, my finger is aligned with the sensor position anyway, so I don't really notice this to be an issue. But even if I put my hand slightly on the front and it's slightly too far back, I don't think it's a problem at all. You can easily get used to it. If it's too slow for you, increase your sensitivity, but not an issue. Just want to share the things here. Again, reviewing, yes, cool. So that's basically it. Oh yeah, software. Nice, thumbs up. I think the software is clean, minimalistic, give a lot of things that you need, and they don't put extra garbage like Asus does. I hate Asus Army Crate, man. But the software implementation and how they design it is very cool. And at the software side, there is a button called esport mode that is default, that is ticked by default. And after checking Reddit, and Gen3D actually replied to my Reddit thread and said it's nothing. So it's nothing, I guess. I did mouse tester with and without esport mode, and they basically give 0 difference, so it's nothing. Thank you for the TED talk. Maybe in the future, if they ever put something on it, I'll pin a comment in the comment section below talking about esport mode in general. But if I forgot, then I just forgot. I'm sorry, I guess. But we'll have to wait Darmoshark to see if it's really important or not. And also the battery life, I didn't talk about battery life. I've used this for 10 days straight without charging. I think 8 days or 9 days straight. I think it's 9 days straight without charging the mouse. And I went from 100% to 52%. So I think you can easily last 2 weeks on a single charge with the M3, which is very solid. No complaints there as well. And wireless performance is really good. If you guys can see, my dongle is right there on top in front of my mouse pad. And I have 0 issue with the wireless performance. And it charges using, oh my god, I don't think you can see, a USB Type-C. So very solid, very solid. I think that's it. To summarize this review, basically, I think Darmoshark really nailed the M3. I've never tried the other mouse. I think they have the N3, they have the N1. But again, I've never tried them because A, they don't look interesting, and B, I forgot. But the M3 really interests me because of another mouse that I reviewed 2 years ago, right? The Zilong X2, and to find a better version of the X2 without spending hundreds of dollars on the F58 and customize it and mod it to wireless, this feels like a dream come true for every F58 enjoyer and want it wireless. It's a really good shape. Sadly, I cannot use it that often because, I mean, not that often. I've been using it for 9 days straight, but I don't feel like I'll come back to it in the sense where I want to like competitive play. I think I still play better with smaller mice in general, but occasionally I might come back to it because it's really good. There's like nothing bad about this mouse. Build quality could be a concern, warranty claim could be a concern, but if we just objectively speak about the mouse in general, I feel like Darmoshark did a very good job with the M3, and I'm probably never reviewing a black on black mouse ever again, because what the hell. I think that concludes my review. I really love the M3, and if you want to buy this, if you hesitate to buy the M3, I still feel like you should just go for it. It's really good. And if you don't like the shape but you don't have money to spend on, for example, a $90 gaming mouse or $110, or if $70 for the Fanatec RE is even too much for you, forcing to use this grip, as long as you have like 18 to 20 centimeter hands, like forcing your hand to get used to this shape is probably still the best thing you can do if you don't want to spend more on a gaming mouse. Like if your hand is like 18 17 centimeter bend, maybe it'll be too small for, too big for you, sorry, but anything else in between, this seems like a really good choice. And yeah, that's about it. I don't have anything else to say aside for the fact that the box artwork looks really goofy and funky, and I love this. I need sleep. I actually need sleep. Yeah, so that concludes my review. If you like this review, thumbs up. If you don't like it, thumbs down. Both feedbacks help me out a lot. If you have any comment, if you have any question about this comment, if you have any question regarding the gaming mouse, leave a comment in the comment section below and I'll try to answer them as fast as I can. But sometimes YouTube notification kind of sucks, so if I missed it, that's my bad. And if you want to ask me if I'm okay, please do. Kind of depressed, broke. And yeah, if you guys haven't subscribed to me already, why not? It's free. Next week I'll be doing a review on the G-Wolf HDS Plus, and the week after that I'll be reviewing the VGN. Did I say that right? And the next week after that I'll be doing a review on the VGN Dragonfly F1 Pro. So two really good gaming mouse on its way, video wise. So if you guys are interested, subscribe, ring the bell, ring a ding if you don't want to miss it. And yeah, hope to see you guys in the next video. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.